What's up, guys? We are here, Monster Motivator TV, episode 12, believe it or not. I'm excited to share with you and introduce you to a good friend of mine, Carole Hodges. Now, we connected originally at Toastmasters years ago in Carlsbad. And Carole actually was my very first speaking coach. She helped me really put together the foundation of my keynote speech that I do now. So, but the reason we connected instantly is she's been an entrepreneur her whole life, like myself. So she has that DNA, and it's that energy that you just know instantly if that other person has that DNA, if you connect. And we did instantly. We're actually live in the same town, ironically enough. So we spent some time together, and I coached with her. She coached me on speaking, creating my foundation, God, for a few months. So we've really been connected, and we stayed connected ever since. And I'm excited to share with you where she's at, where she started, where she's at now, and where she's looking to go, because it's going to be really inspirational on a few levels. If you're out there and you're not sure that you want to start a business, if you have that fear barrier, let Carole share her story, right? If you want to change careers, you don't have to be an entrepreneur. You just want to change careers. Listen to Carole's story. It's going to help you move forward. So what I do know about Carole is she's been an entrepreneur her whole adult life, and she's a professional speaker. She speaks and she does keynotes. So if you're looking for, you like her content, you want to reach out, Carole will be more than happy to be a keynote speaker. And she does workshops, correct? Mm-hmm. Yep. And also, now she's into the financial world, helping people understand how to leverage their financial situation to its max, whatever level you're at. So enough of me talking. Let me introduce you to Carole Hodges. And Carole, tell everyone where you came from, where you're at now, and where you're going.
Okay. That's a big order.
That's right. That's right. But I know you can handle it. I got faith. So yeah, just jump in. They're dying to know who you are.
Oh, well, I will tell you, my focus is working with business owners, especially, to optimize their finances.
Okay.
Because we've been, gosh, there's so much misinformation, and we've seen the ups and downs. I know that it can be scary when you look at money, and plenty of people lost homes and everything, and started over again.
Yeah, I mean, it was a depression.
Right.
I mean, say what you want. Yeah. It was.
And the good news is, we're still here.
Exactly. We're still breathing. We are still breathing. So it's not as scary as you make it out.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
And I have to say, because this will come out at some point anyhow, is one of my favorite sayings is that life is an adventure. And someone asked me yesterday, it was an interesting day yesterday, and I had ups and downs.
Okay.
You know, the two ups and
the roller coaster.
2 downs. And I said, and someone asked me how my week was. I said, well, lots of ups and downs. And that means just grab on and enjoy the ride.
Right? Yeah. Just put the seatbelt on and enjoy the ride.
Right.
Yeah.
So when it comes to money in life, it's a good philosophy to have.
Good. Good. Now I know that you've been an entrepreneur from the very beginning, right? So, and I know that you worked in your father's insurance business. Yeah. Was that your first exposure to?
I started out, and when my father first worked for General Motors when I was really little. Okay. Then he had automobile dealerships. And I remember going in and seeing Dad's office in the dealership. Yeah. And then my dad went bankrupt when I was about 13. Okay. So I count that as bankruptcy number one. Right. They say you need like 3 bankruptcies to become a millionaire. Right. So that was my bankruptcy number one.
Right. To claim your spot.
Yeah. I was 13 years old. He lost everything. We had 5 kids, and then my mother got pregnant with the 6th. Oh. Right about that time. Wow. And then Dad went, and a friend came over and said, let's start auto insurance for automobile dealers. Okay. And it was a brand new idea. Okay. And they started that out, and I worked in his office.
Okay. So that was your first exposure as an entrepreneur, and you lived through that first bankruptcy. I mean,
yeah, and I think that has something to do with my attitude, because I was 13 and yet we all ate.
yeah.
I remember that Christmas we put up a tree and my youngest sister pulled the tree down and it broke all of the ornaments. So my mother was very creative. She got out the tin foil and we made little rings and put them together. We strung together popcorn and cranberries and we put them on the tree. And we had a good Christmas.
So you really had the foundation, from both parents, on that whatever it takes.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it takes. So that's a huge thing I want to point out is again, we always talk about surround yourself with the right people. But even though Carole had that foundation, she still had the decision. She still could have not went down that road, right? You still could have not used all that wisdom to propel you into the entrepreneurial world that you've done on your own. So what came up after that? Now, once you, what was your first business that you got into on your own?
Well, after college, I got married right before college ended, and together we got into technology. Okay. This was back in the really
before
dinosaur
technology,
age of technology.
Right.
Our first business, if you can imagine this, because now we have like Quicken, everybody can do their finances. We had a business, we got a franchise called Fax, F-A-C-S, and we would go to businesses and gather all of their receipts and show them how to do punch cards.
Wow.
Punch in all of the data so they could get a spreadsheet on their income.
Wow.
And then I think it was only income at that point. I don't think it was even expenses.
So would you do the service for them, or would you just show them how to do it?
I was teaching people how to do punch cards.
Okay. All right. There you go. Hey, listen, right?
So the very early days of technology, and I must say that I've always liked technology. It's shown up in my life of many different times.
It's kind of that's where you are. I'm the opposite. I'm just I just thank God for the Geek Squad and for the Apple Store, because they know me by name. They ask how my family is because I just hand it over to them. Yeah. But so then I know you got into some other businesses that you built and moved on, right?
Oh yeah, I've run a wind park for a while.
Okay, a wind park.
A wind park.
So what is that?
A wind park generates wind energy.
Okay.
And kind of we were involved in it, and one of our partners backed out, and I ended up helping operate a wind park for a while.
And see, now again, a lot of people that know me out there, I always say it's not what you do, but how you do it, right? Yeah. It's not what you do, but how you do it. So what I love about that is another opportunity comes up. She's not going to hesitate if it makes sense to Carole. She's going to move forward. And honestly, that's how you live life. It doesn't mean that you have to be an entrepreneur. But without risk, why are you here? Without calculated risk, really, you have to ask yourself, why are you here? So you just kept building that self-image that said, you know what? That makes sense. Let me move forward. Let me figure it out. And I think you might be on board with this. I'm a big believer in a real true entrepreneur jumps off that cliff and builds a plane on the way down.
Oh, I like that.
Right? Because
I like that.
Because there is no perfect plane. Yeah. Would you agree?
I agree.
So you found yourself in this windmill business. Mm-hmm. So you were just completely building the plane as you were going down.
Yeah. Well, and I did something I've always done, which is to look around, because I really didn't know how to run a wind park. Yeah. But there were people who did. Okay. And so I went to them and said, okay, how do we measure this? What do we do? How do you make it better? Yeah. I went to people who were able to work with me and tell me how to make it better. Right. Okay. I just had the objective. Right. You surround yourself with the right people, and I know you do the same thing that I like to do, is kind of look at a business in reverse. So I want to enhance my weaknesses, but then double down on my strengths. Yes. Right? So I know my weaknesses are in the back end, the paperwork, all the organization, that's not my strength. My strength is in the front, and it gets back to your level of awareness. Yeah.
right? How important do you think that is as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, your level of awareness in yourself and in your people?
Oh, tremendously.
Okay.
Tremendously. It's something I've learned over time.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it takes a certain amount of humility in order to look around and acknowledge to yourself whether that it's like without beating yourself up.
Yes.
If something's not working well, how to have a conversation. I have to share a fun conversation because I had one of these conversations with myself, and it made all the difference in the world.
Okay.
Like most people, you get that little voice going.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a stupid thing. Why did you do that?
Yeah.
You're never going to make it.
Right.
All of that.
That's self-talk.
Well, I had that little voice going on, and I was becoming far more aware and conscious of what that little voice did to me.
Yes.
Actually, it was after a Toastmasters meeting, no less.
Wow.
When on the way home, the little voice started, that was really stupid. You forgot that part and you jumped all over it. That was not a very good speech. It's going on and on.
It was just repeating.
Yeah. And I finally had a little discussion with my little voice. And I said, look, you and I are in this together. And so we may as well work on the same team.
Right.
Thank you very much for keeping me honest and letting me know that that was not my best effort.
Right.
Thank you very much. But in the future, after you've done that and let me know I could do better, I request that you give me something to improve next time.
I like that.
So that we work together on this. It's okay to tell me I needed to improve, but what can I do better next time?
How do we fix this, right? What's the positive out of it? How do we move forward? Instead of beating yourself up, I love that because you are creating that team in your mind. See, I'm already, we think in pictures, so I'm already there. I'm seeing two people, right? It's Carole, but I'm seeing two. I love that. I never thought of it that way and never approach it that way. I love that because it seems so real. Yeah. So how did you feel after?
Well, after, it has made all the difference. Because I now look at that little voice and say, okay, that's keeping me honest. Okay. That's keeping me humble. Okay. To know that I have things I can improve. Yeah. And at the same time, I'm just going through this world like everybody else, doing the best thing that I can. And if I make a mistake, I want to fix it right away. But it's given me access to a more powerful self-talk.
Yes. And you know what else?
We work at this together.
You know what else I love about that is I tell people all the time, listen, being an entrepreneur is a lonely road. Yeah. It's a tough road. And that's why the self-talk is so important. But what I like about this concept is you don't feel alone. No. You feel like you have an inner team, which I call the self-talk your inner coach. What is your inner coach telling you? Is it depleting or is it uplifting, right? And I speak at corporations as well, and I think you'll agree with this, is so many of the corporate world as a whole, as a mass, not everyone, but as a mass, kind of, when you talk about self-talk and you talk about energy and you talk about the mindset, a lot of times they go right to the pink clouds of unicorns and the Easter Bunny, right? But not realizing that it's really the core, because my belief is any business, right? Mm-hmm. No matter what you do, what you sell, what economy you're in, all comes down to one thing, the culture. Yes. And that culture is made up of individuals. Yeah. And that individual, their self-image dictates how far ahead they go or how far behind they get left behind. Yeah. So, and I know you well enough that I know we're on the same page with that. So, self-awareness is huge. Self-talk, you would say, is very, very important as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a leader.
Gosh, yes.
Okay. What other things can you share? We have some people. Terry Williamson. Now, she's just a dynamite lady. She's the biggest support out there with Dave Daley, Monster Motivator TV. Thank you so much, Terry, for tuning in. and she is really killing it out there in Arizona. That would be a great person for you to connect with.
I would love to.
Yeah, she's just killing it out there. She's working at a gym. She's getting in phenomenal shape and just making it happen. And she had her own struggles, like we all do, right? But figured out how to triumph and move forward. And I love her tenacity. Anthony Steele, Dave Daley, can we do a podcast? Yeah, we'd love to do a podcast, Big A. No worries, we'll do a Monster Motivator TV. Terry said hi.
Good. Hi.
Okay, now let's share a little bit of what you're doing now, how you're changing lives, how you're enhancing lives, and the value that you're bringing now on the financial end.
Okay.
Because that's everything. I mean, listen,
it is.
At the end of the day, that is why we're here, right?
Well, yeah, because I look and say we have a relationship with money. And just like I had to solve a relationship with myself and with other people. And what I'm finding is that for a while I was coaching small business owners. And every single one, if you ask, why are you doing this, is to be financially free. Okay. So that idea of freedom is huge.
It's everything.
And what exactly that means. And as I work with people, what I see is that part of that freedom really is the finances and optimizing whatever you've got, but everyone's idea is a little bit different.
Yes, their definition, right, of financial freedom and success.
Sure, somebody could live in a tent and say, I feel free.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I like to have people define what it is for them. And then find ways to optimize. A lot of times our finances, honestly, we've been fed a lot of misinformation.
With agendas.
Yes.
Right? On the other end. Yes.
As you know, when you
I've been down that road. Yeah.
Well, some things are not stacked in our favor.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You know, banks who make a lot of money, they want to have our money in as soon as possible. Well, why do you think you get benefits for direct deposit?
Yes.
Gosh, get it straight to the bank, not in a check that has to wait a few days.
Yeah.
And then they want to keep it as long as possible.
Yes.
So now you've got auto pay, but they don't auto pay on the first day. If you set auto pay, it's generally set on the last day that the payment is due.
They're allowed. Right. Right. Yes, it's the leverage.
And then there's often hidden fees and things like that.
So we have a question.
So, yes.
So, Carole, what do you recommend we invest in if we have a little bit of money right now that's fairly safe?
Okay, well, I'm not going to give advice.
Okay.
First of all, I'm licensed in life insurance. And if I were to give advice, I'd actually have to be licensed in securities.
Okay, gotcha.
And
okay.
So I won't do that. But what I will say is one of the first elements of optimizing money is to make sure that you have enough set aside that is safe, like 6 months worth of your expenses. Set that aside, because part of optimizing your finances is making sure first that you don't put things out where you're going to lose it.
Yes.
And
some sort of
making sure
safety
you have that net. And then I look at 3 areas. I look at protection, which is, what insurance you have in place, and make sure that you are actually protecting what you have, because nobody needs a lawsuit to work real hard and have it all gone. And then secondly, your savings. And make sure you've got some good basic savings, and you do that, and then you get into
the
investments. And there can be a whole variety. I like to balance it in a way so whether people like to put their money in mutual funds or stock markets or bonds or real estate, that you can still find a way to optimize. And that means look at all of the things that really eat away at your finances, the fees, the taxes.
All the little things over a year.
Because in the end, what really matters is the money left for you to enjoy.
Yes. Yeah, that you work for.
Right.
Yes. So we have Marty, as a business owner, what insurances should we have? So she's a business owner. What?
Okay.
Yeah. What insurances would you recommend?
Well, I'm going to go through kind of my
Yeah.
little list,
Yeah.
making sure
Sure.
that you have enough insurance on your cars, that if you, God forbid, would go out and let's say you caused an accident and it happened to be a surgeon and he could no longer do surgery, and you've got just $50,000 for that
Yeah.
kind of an accident, he's probably not going to be happy with just $50,000.
Right.
So making sure you have plenty of insurance in your car, that you have a liability policy,
Right.
so that you're covered. If depending upon what kind of a business owner you are, I know in insurance I have to have E&O insurance.
Yes.
If I make a mistake,
Yes.
I would never intentionally, but if I make a mistake,
No, but you need that. Right.
I need to be covered.
So it really depends
all
on
of
your
those-
industry, because I had to have that as a public
Right.
adjuster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, health insurance,
Yes.
making sure you look at that. And then, so all your property, home insurance, and then life insurance.
And then also, right, for your business, because I have a fire restoration business, so now I
Yeah.
have to have coverage on my warehouse, coverage on other people's contents, coverage en route,
Right.
right? So, Marty, we're going to, before we leave here today, we're going to give you a lot of great information on how to get a hold of Carole directly. So I would highly recommend doing
Actually,
that.
I know Marty.
Oh, there you go. Then, but we're still going to share that info, Marty. So Caitlin says, how do you even begin to save for 6 months if you aren't a good saver to begin with? So you have any tips? What are some of the tips?
Well, one of the things I do when working with people is you have to start looking at needs and wants.
Okay.
And I know it can be difficult, but if you even start, I've had people who, things were so tight, they started saving $1. And then they doubled it. The next month it was $2. I guarantee you there is some amount of money you can start putting aside and just take it out.
But pay yourself first.
Pay yourself
Pay
first.
yourself first.
Take it out, because you won't miss it.
Right. And you won't save it if you don't.
Right.
It-
But
you'll-
it really has to come out first when you get paid.
Yes.
And ideal, and whether you start there or not, but ideal is to save at least 15%.
Okay, that's kind of rule of thumb. 15%
Yeah.
of your gross.
Right.
Okay.
And the reason why is that there's inflation, there's other things.
Yeah.
So if inflation was 3 to 5% and you save 3 to 5%,
You're breaking even.
yeah, you're not getting ahead.
Yeah, you're breaking even. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So at 15%, you can begin to get ahead a bit. So
Okay, so
that's
there
what
you
I
go.
suggest.
You know, pay yourself first, and 15% is about a safe number, and it's not going to break you either.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. So you actually right now you're actually still working with small businesses, or you're working with individuals? Like, who's your clientele?
I'll tell you, I love working with small business owners and introducing them to the idea of optimizing where their money is going.
Okay.
So when we do that, and here's where the technology comes in. Oh, I have some wonderful tools that enable us to go in and say, okay, with your 401k, now let's look at really how much you have, how long you're working, and then let's look at your estimate, how much taxes will come out.
Okay.
And then
So a game
what are
plan.
the fees?
Okay.
We look at yours, plug it in, and then you compare that to other things that are available.
Oh,
other
so it
things
gives
that
you-
might grow tax-free.
Okay.
So a lot of people know about a Roth. That's a great tax-free thing to start with. But it stops at about $5,000, $5,500 a year.
Yeah, so you're limited. You're limited.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
great place to put your money. And then, of course, once it's in the Roth, you still have to invest it. So we look at all of that to say, how do we optimize it? Because it's different for every person. But let me tell you why I do it for business owners.
Okay.
I believe that more people really want to leave a legacy. This is what I found in coaching business owners. So if you ask them why, they want to leave a legacy. Now, some people feel like a legacy just means for their own family, and that's good.
Yeah. Yeah,
because you can do
that's
that.
That's their definition.
But you find really successful people, you know, the Warren Buffett and Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Okay, they're putting billions aside to change the world.
Yes.
And I believe that if business owners began to think that way, that yes, take care of your families and those people you love first, but how can you build something so that you leave a legacy?
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I found when you have in mind helping someone else, you'll do things you wouldn't ordinarily do.
And you know, you shared when we set up the this appointment, this date to do this. You shared with me a story that's you know, so new right now and it's fresh about Prince.
Yeah.
Right. So what a disaster! What a tragedy that you built such a legacy. I think they said he's worth his estate's like $300 million. $300
million.
But there was nothing in place. It's actually hard to believe that you're at that level and the people aren't advising you.
Well, here's what's interesting.
What's that?
And this is why I want to get this out there, because you look at Prince and it's not as unusual as you would think.
Okay.
The number of business owners that I talk to who do not understand how to put a few simple things in place to create a legacy.
Okay.
And how to have money, yes, take care of their families, but how to really make a difference. Because imagine if Prince had put aside $150 million, whether it had gone towards education or bettering people's lives.
Wherever.
Oh my gosh.
Wherever. Absolutely. All these nonprofits that, you know, all the need and all the help that could provide it's a shame. It's just going to be gone. So Caitlin said, I guess you have to start somewhere. Makes sense to save $1 and growing from there. And then versus saving no money at all. Absolutely. It's still a positive direction, right? It's still moving forward.
And in fact, what I've found, anytime I've changed my life, it started with a decision.
Yes.
And sometimes that decision is the most important thing. And I've seen people, whether it's setting aside a couple dollars, whether it's buying your first insurance policy, your first life insurance policy, everything happens depending upon what's going on in your mind.
Right.
If you say, this is another expense, I can't do it.
Right.
That's the decision you're making. If you say, this is the first step of changing my life because I have decided and I'm going to do this no matter what.
You're taking control.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And recently I've really seen that. As I say, you know, I have my ups and downs.
No, we're human.
But when I look at it, I said, what makes the difference? It's the decision. I'm on a path to really make a difference in people's lives financially. And I'm getting every expert around me that I can.
I love it.
And if I do one thing and it doesn't turn out as well as I want, I've made a decision. I'm not stopping.
No, you've learned. You're just doing what an entrepreneur does. Figure out another path.
Right.
Right? So I love this because the decision is going to be based upon your why. Right? Yeah. Your why is big enough. See, your why is actually bigger than you. So I always tell people, when your why becomes bigger than you, you become unstoppable. Yeah. Right? Your why is bigger than you. So, and I know you'll connect with this. You work out, you stay in shape, and it's my whole world, you know, part of my whole identity. It's same thing. If you decide that you want to get in shape, if you decide that you want to use, you know, the gym, you need to just get up a little earlier, right? To make it fit into your day. That's the decision, but it'll trickle down to, for lasting, it'll trickle down to your why. Your why has to be big enough. Yeah. So I'm glad you shared your why. I mean, it's bigger than you. Yeah. So again, prime example is, it's not about if she's going to get there, whatever that destination is, right? It's figuring out how to make it work, and there's going to be obstacles. It's life. That just means we're breathing.
Right. And that's what I see.
Right.
You know, when I thought one thing was going to come up and it didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have to say, this is just my opportunity to move forward and show that I'm not stopping no matter what.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
your why is big enough.
Yeah, because life throws a lot of things at you, but
Yes.
when you
yes.
decide, and sometimes, and I will say, there's times in my life where I went forward because it was more like I just couldn't stand to not.
Yeah.
I maybe didn't have
I am
the
right
big
there
why.
with you.
It's just, I'm not going to put up with this mess anymore.
Right.
So something has to change.
Yeah.
And it was a negative motivation.
Right. You're kind of tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you're there, make the change.
Yes. At least use that, right, as momentum.
Use that.
Use that as
and
momentum.
And then keep looking, because to me it was different people around me, and making sure, like I like sitting here with you.
Yeah.
But different people around me
Yes.
that helped inspire me to see I could do more. And just, and I made a decision a while ago. I had an opportunity when my life changed. My mother passed away, and I moved down to this area.
Yeah.
And that's always a great time to look and say, who am I now? Nobody knows me.
Spring cleaning.
Yeah,
right?
No one knows me. So all the past is gone.
Yes.
Who am I now?
Right.
And really decide. And I decided, okay, I need to be very conscious about who I want to have around me, because I want people with ideas. I want people who know how to be successful, and I want people around who know how to motivate people.
And support.
Yeah.
And support.
Absolutely.
So I'm a big believer, especially in the times we're living in now, whether you want to agree with this, whether you want to admit it or not, we all are our own brand. With social media, we are our own brand. Look, we're live streaming out of Fallbrook, California to Facebook, right? So how you put that brand out there, to me, it has to really mean something to you. My mantra is leadership through motivation, inspiration, and perspiration. I believe that motivation starts from the outside. That's your goal, your destination. But unless you tie that and marry that with something that comes from the inside, your inspiration, it's only going to last so long. Right. And without perspiration, nothing happens. But if you do this in reverse and you start taking the action without the why in place and without that destination, that goal, you start chasing your tail, and pretty soon you give up. So motivation, inspiration, and perspiration is my mantra, but I believe that's the most powerful trifecta in business and in life. Share your mantra and give us some insight on what that means.
Well,
because they saw it.
Yeah.
They saw it. Yeah.
And I've shared one already.
Okay.
With life is an adventure, make it a great
Sure.
one. And then I have a tagline. My company is Wise Wealth Choices, and it's financial resilience for a changing world.
Okay.
Because certainly, money, unfortunately, even if you were really good at saving it and you just stuck it in a jar, it would be worth less and less.
Each day.
Right.
Right.
So financial resilience actually means looking at things on a consistent basis and having a plan to grow that you can reevaluate each year as things change, because tax rates will change, interest rates will change, everything changes. So how to build that, and then acknowledging it is a changing world, and some people like to resist that and say there's a problem with it because let's get rid of all these new things and go back to the old.
Yeah.
But the fact is that the changes in my lifetime have been fabulous. Now, see, I love technology, and I look at the difference that makes. The fact that we're talking right here.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I was in video conferencing for MCI, and I sold these $100,000 units
It's
that could only talk to one other one.
It's absolutely amazing.
And this was not imagined at the time. So, but the fact is, this is now bringing people together in a different way. It's like, gosh, you can find mentors, you can find people to work with, because if they're not right in your neighborhood, you can find them on Facebook and LinkedIn.
You could produce your
This
own
is
TV show, right? You become your own media, right? You know, one of the things that you said is when you look back, the changes were phenomenal, right? They were great.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
But more important, just as important, that everyone needs to understand whether every change in your life is great or not, and they probably won't all be. No matter what, it's inevitable. Right? It's inevitable. Change is inevitable. And I always say the most toxic statement you can hear in business is, we've been doing this forever. We've always done it this way. Right? And I say that means they're not on the cutting edge of their industry. And if you're not sure how important that is, just ask Blockbuster Video, Border Books, and Kodak Film. Right? Who, you know, in our time, who would ever think that we'd be talking about Kodak Film not being around?
I know.
Right? Whoever. I mean, you would think you're crazy. Right? So it doesn't matter how big you are, how long you've been in business, change is inevitable, and it also ties into your personal business. Now, is there anything that I didn't touch on that you want to share with people before we close this out? Anything that you want to kind of, some golden nuggets? Because I know you have them.
Yeah. I would just say, you know, wherever you are financially, decide that you want to make a difference. And start. Start simply. Start putting something aside. And if you're a business owner and you've been putting money aside and yet, you know, it's all in your 401k or you're not sure how to optimize it, gosh, I'd love to chat with you, because what I do is really saying, how do we optimize? Because my goal is that everyone listening gets to leave a legacy. You have it within you. I believe we're here to serve, and I believe that your value can make a difference in the lives of others.
That's awesome. That's a great way to finish it up. But we can't leave until you share with everyone how they get in touch with you on social media, your email, your website. So share with everyone. And Carole's also going to share this stream to her Facebook. So if you want to find her on Facebook, like her on Facebook, and she'll also type in her, you know, you'll have her contact info, but share with everyone, how do we get in touch with you?
Go to my page, which is Wise Wealth Choices. And please don't go to my personal one, because I'm at the top of Facebook.
I know.
I can't friend you.
I know. I keep deleting what I call the anchors. Right?
I can't. So please go to my page, Wise Wealth Choices, and I'd love to put out some really great articles. I've got some for single moms and business owners, you know, to really have some good things that can help you.
So that's the best way for them to find you?
Yeah, that's the best way to find me, and just message me there, and I will be in touch with you if you'd like to see me personally.
If you have any issues finding her, just reach out to me, and I know where she lives. So I know how to find her. So, hey guys, thanks so much. I see Caitlin put a link up there. Oh, she put your information up there.
Yeah,
she's on it. She's on it. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I can't believe we just got done number 12. It's been a fun journey, and I'm looking forward to much more, bringing a lot of value, highlighting some really great people. If you know anybody in the Southern California area that's making a difference in their community, is an entrepreneur, a business owner, or a nonprofit that you want to highlight, let me know. We'll come to you. Monster Motivator TV is mobile. We come to you, and we make it real simple, real easy, and we put it out there. So, hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you keep making it happen.